Of course, one, I was excited, familiar teammates, you know. I wasn't shocked necessarily, but excited to be here. Um, some guys reached out to me, like Smitty and them, so was just excited to get here and get going, get acclimated.
Why were you shocked?
I think just going with the flow, just showing up every day. I was not necessarily not shocked, but I was just into my process, not worried about outcomes, situations, lots of things I can't control. Just stuck into my process in a sense.
What did Smitty have to say to you when you said Monte reached out to you? What did he have to say?
Just being the first one to welcome me, welcome me to the team, welcome me to the city, just stuff like that.
You guys obviously played together at Alabama. Like, how much did that relationship? How much do you think that relationship will help you now that you're here?
I'm sure a lot, going to college together, especially being together for like 2 years. You grow up together, you play. In college, you're around each other all day, so you definitely get a sense of each other on the field. So it'll probably help me get acclimated quicker, things like that.
What do you see in the opportunity here in Philly?
Really, I'm just trying to bring something to the table, try and contribute to a team that's already so good. All those other things I don't have any control over. All I really have control is how I show up every day.
What do you think you bring to the table, or what do you think you'll bring to this offense?
I think just being dynamic. It's such a dynamic offense already, through and through, receivers and the whole offense. I just think being dynamic, guys that can kind of run all routes and things like that.
John,
What was it
perspective do you
like?
have on the last 3 years of your life? From the ACL injury to illness to kind of up getting back to football. What perspective do you have on those 3 years?
Just kind of being present with everything, living the dream, not worrying about a bunch of things you can't control. I think that's probably the biggest one. And understanding the things that you can control, the things you're grateful for, things like that.
John was just up here talking about your relationship with him. Went down to the Petty School. He hosted you. How close were you guys during that process?
Yeah, for sure. That's another relationship that's probably been around since I was in high school. Our situation there with the Petty School, both going to the Petty School, him going to Penn State. I almost went to Penn State. I'm going up there, visits and stuff. So that's just like another one of those relationships in the locker room that I feel like I've known these guys for years, which I have actually. So, I'm excited about that.
Getting traded late in camp, what does your process look like to kind of play catch up now?
Just stick to the same script of your routines, continue to hone in your routine and habits. I think it's just one of those things. It's just noise. Yeah, things are happening. Yeah, you got to move, but you can't deviate from your routine. And you just got to take it in stride. You know what I'm saying?
What was it like going through the first practice? I mean, you got obviously some second team reps, some first team reps, trying to learn the plays at the same time. I mean, what was that like for you today?
It was good. It was a big learning process. I mean, kind of two things are happening. One, it's a mental learning process. You have to learn a new offense, and just new scheme, really the words. And then second, it's just football. When you're out there, football is football. You run routes, you play offense against the defense, but it's kind of those two things. One, you keep it football. And then on the other hand, on the mental aspect, you're trying to learn a whole new concept, whole new lingo, things like that.
Missed each other at Alabama, but do you have any sort of relationship with him?
Absolutely. Just kind of through that connection, through that Alabama connection. Definitely haven't spent a lot of time together per se, or like play together and stuff, but just through that Alabama connection.
Think that helps when you're trying to get on the same page with him now?
I'm sure it's familiarity, knowing about each other, knowing the system or the school. We both went to the same school, both came up in the same school of football, so I'm sure familiarity in that way.
This interaction with Devontae after the trade, did he call you or did you see him here or what?
Yeah, we talked on the phone, and then I was literally here in a couple hours, and then said what up. So I really just got here, so.
Which stuff did you bring with you?
A suitcase.
Did Casario say anything to you? Did the Texans say anything when they traded you? How did they let you know?
Yeah, we just had a conversation. I had a meeting with D'Amico and Nick, and we had a good conversation, talked to the coaches, and then in the next couple hours, I was headed over here.
In that 2022 draft, Eagles were pretty deep in terms of looking at the wide receiver. Did you have communication, whether it was with Sirianni, Howie, Aaron Moorhead, in that pre-draft process?
Honestly, I can't remember.
I saw Aaron in some reps, he would come up to you and sort of give you a heads up, I guess, to what's going on. Did you have any relationship? Did you know Aaron at all as far as just in the process over the years?
I mean, yes and no. You know, you meet so many people, but at the same time, it's like it's such a big process going from college to the league. You're really just worried about playing, you know. It's kind of the same thing right now. Like I said, the noise goes up with moving, learning a new offense, a new team, getting ready for a season, getting ready. So it's just, you just got to find a way to tune out the noise and keep the main thing as far as what's important to you, you know. And for me, that's kind of getting acclimated as quickly as possible and getting ready to compete.
How long did it take you to physically get back to that player you were in 2021 at Bama?
I don't really ever think you go back to being the same person. I think you always change, you know. It definitely took some time with all the health things, and you kind of have to build yourself back up. And I think I'm a different person. I think I'm a better player, and I think it all helped me for the better as a person and a player.
How are you different?
Just that's a loaded question. What do you mean, like sports, like athletically, or?
In general,
I think maturity. You know, something like that happens. You develop a different sense of maturity. Just in the sense of life, you see that you can't take too many things for granted. And the most important thing is your health, right? For you and your loved ones. And aside from that, everything else is just a blessing, you know?
As a player, physically, how are you different?
I think faster for sure. I think more efficient. I think building your body back up, one ACL, and then being down for thing because of cancer, you have a lot of time to really build yourself back up. So I think movement and functionality-wise, just a lot more efficient.
How'd you
There's
get
like
faster?
9 Alabama players on this roster now, if you count Jalen.
I have no idea. Yeah, that's a lot.
I mean, do you have any reaction to that? And and Georgia too. You know, like SEC guys.
Yeah, it just feels like home. You know, the locker room just feels like home. The Alabama guys, the Georgia guys, the guys like Jahan and the Penn State guys, you know, just really everyone. It's not necessarily just SEC or just everyone. It has a really good feel.
What do you feel like you revealed in your game in your time in Houston? Where do you think you can build on?
I'm not really too sure about that question because I'm just looking forward. I'm not really looking backwards, you know, and I'm trying to improve my game every day. And I'm always trying to improve my game. And I'm trying to see how I can help contribute here and all those things. So just moving forward.
You think you'll play Friday?
I think that's a decision for the coaches, but I know I'm always ready to step on the field every day and compete.
You've seen two more questions. You've seen Devontae firsthand. What's about something maybe that we don't see that makes him unique to you?
Said unique? Just the person, I'm sure. The person he is. I'm sure you guys have a sense of the person he is and a sense of the player he is. But the person he is super consistent, never changes, and very real, you know, regardless of what's going on or regardless of just anything, you know. So I think that.
If I can take you back to the 2022, that Thursday night game, Devontae wore a T-shirt with, a T-shirt for you before that game. What do you recall from that moment? Because it was, I think, fairly emotional for Devontae.
Absolutely. It just shows that, like, the love that your brothers and former teammates have for you, you know, and that even though we're in a industry that's always going and we have to keep going and on to the next, that they're thinking about you and they have you on their mind. So it definitely meant a lot to me in that moment.